Hey everyone, in today's video I have a brand new model phone from Cisco. This is the 8875. It is a desktop video phone. I'm going to take this thing out of the box. We're going to look at what comes with it and fire it up and use it a little bit. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell if you've not already, and we're going to dive into it. Here we go. Initially out of the box, you'll notice a couple different components. Obviously we have the phone, we have an Ethernet cable, we have the cord to connect our handset, and we have the leg for the back of the phone as well. So I would say that you'd be in pretty good shape to drop ship this directly to end users if you had to. It's very easy to assemble. Of course, if you look at the back, we have the place to insert the base, which we'll do here right now. Got to use some little force to get it in there. You can see multiple Ethernet connections for the LAN in, and then an out for the for a PC or something like that as well. You have the handset, and you also have a headset connector. There is power for this as well. This phone does support Wi-Fi. However, you obviously need to use power, or you can use PoE when you plug it in as well. Something a little different from the other model phones. If you can see that, there is a power button on this guy, and there is a USB port, presumably for some expansion capabilities as well. Here you can see the 8875 next to the 8845. Couple major differences. The first and most noticeable is going to be the screen. The phone is similar in size overall, the height and so forth. Maybe the 75 is just a little bit higher, but this is a 7-inch screen, so it's definitely larger than on the 8845 or 8865. This is also a touch-enabled screen. It's very responsive. It's very crisp. So it's a great user experience. The look and feel is great. Cisco's done a great job putting this whole thing together. The other thing I'll mention is the strip across the top here is a little bit different as well. You no longer have these two function buttons, the back button or the directional controls, because you don't need it. You have the touch capabilities to get you through. Finally, I'll point out that the numbers and the calling functions are nearly identical. The only one that I was able to see that was different was the transfer button is now an arrow instead of a little person with an arrow. So effectively the same thing. You still have your speakerphone, mic, or mute, headset, and that type of thing as well. The handsets are very similar. Nearly identical, I suppose. And then the color is the only other major noticeable difference. This is actually a carbon black rather than a charcoal gray, which is what the other 88 series family devices are from a color perspective. You can get the 8875 in a white as well, so it's going to look pretty similar to the 8845 I have here. But that's it. Let's fire this thing up now, take a look at the software capabilities, and go from there. Alright, so here's the 8875 powered on and registered. I didn't show the registration process because you're probably already familiar with it. You simply power it on and you're prompted for an activation code. You type that in numerically on the keypad and away you go from there. A couple things to point out. You have a nice view of the time here, phone number at the top, username underneath. You have call settings, so you can see your history, your favorites, and directory. You can actually tap into the dialing area and type in, alphanumeric characters as well, whether you're going to dial a SIP URI or if you want to search in a directory. Of course, anytime that you get to a place where you want to go back to the home screen, you actually just touch this button in the middle that's lit up and it will return you home. You can swipe to the right or left to move between screens. As you'll notice here, this is all largely calling oriented features. Do not disturb, forward, pickup, your contacts, those types of things. So lots of functionality there. I will point out the settings. This is more I guess user and administrative settings, right? About this device, issues and diagnostics, more technical. You can adjust time, language, those types of things. And there's also audio settings, so Bluetooth. The ability to pair a Bluetooth device with this phone is possible as well. Ringtones and volumes, microphone. Cool thing with microphone is Cisco's noise removal technology is available on this endpoint. You can optimize it for your voice specifically. You can remove normal background noise, or you can, set it to the default, which allows that noise to come through. Finally, I'll mention the brightness and appearance settings. Appearance is kind of cool. You can toggle a couple different themes, whether you like light or dark. There are a few options for you here to pick from. I'll just update it to this violet dark theme, which is actually the theme it typically defaults to. And then you hit home, and it takes you back. You have an updated theme on the endpoint as well. You notice here that there's a meetings icon. This will do one button to push, and I'll show you that in just a second. It should pop up a meeting when that meeting is ready to start. But if you need to come in and look at the meetings list, you can also see that on the screen here as well. Here you can see I have an invite on the screen. It has the join, snooze, and ignore button. Obviously that join button is going to take us right into the meeting. Let's go ahead and do that now. Once we've joined the meeting, you'll see the self view here. You can actually move the self view with full discretion around the screen. Of course, if you tap the screen, you can hit self view and turn it off. You'll see the active speaker in the middle of the screen, and then the film strip across the bottom of other participants. Of course, if there's content that's shared into the call, that'll be the main screen, and the speaker will be above or below it. At this point, with this release of the software, there aren't a whole lot of other controls. You just have the basic meeting panel. You can end the call. Anything under more is actually going to be more call centric. So transfer, conference hold, that type of thing. There is a participants list at least. In this case, it's not showing any of them. So expect that to be coming in the future. Hold is here as well. Again, a call feature. So basic functionality at this point. Expect more features to come as the software matures. Something else I will point out though is in the upper right hand corner there is a little speaker to change from the speaker on the phone to the analog headset if you have one of those attached. And then you can also tap and see the self view a little bit larger, and you can adjust the camera exposure as well. So you can adjust the light, the brightness of the image, and then of course jump back to the meeting from there. Alright, so that's been an initial look at the 8875. I don't think it's a bad device. I think there's some stuff that's very early in the software life cycle that's going to get better over time. So keep that in mind if you're getting ready to roll these out in scale. A couple things that are still needing improvement as of this recording, but it's like any new device. The bugs get worked out pretty quickly, and you end up with a pretty solid platform. If you're looking for something a little bit more video-centric, you might look at a Desk Mini or a Desk Series device. If you're looking to stay more in the calling world, obviously the 8800 series has a whole list of phones that you can check out. If you want to split the difference, this isn't a bad device. There's some hot desking or remote worker hoteling type features coming as well. So you could come in with your Webex app, sit down in front of this thing and log in and have it become your device for the day for those mobile scenarios. All in all, the video quality is fantastic in my opinion, particularly for how small the camera is and how the device is structured. The screen is sharp, very responsive from a touch perspective, and of course it has your typical calling functions that your users are familiar with if you're coming from that calling world specifically. So all in all, I give it pretty good reviews, but like I said, expect a few things to get improved over time as well. So if you got questions, leave them in the video comment section there, and as always, I want to thank you for watching.